Hi friends, welcome to the channel Civil Vision Tune Yourself. This video is about strength of materials, important concepts and MCQs, part 3. First topic of this video is theory of simple bending. Let us consider a beam subjected to a loading system or by a force couple acting on a plane passing through the axis. Then the beam deform like this. Top fiber tends to compression, bottom fiber tends to tension. In simple terms, this axial deformation is called bending of beam. Due to shear force and bending moment, the beam undergoes deformation. These normal stress due to bending are called flexural stress. Equation of simple bending: m by I equal to sigma by y equal to E by R. I is nothing but moment of inertia, which is the deciding factor of strength of cross section. Section modulus is defined as the ratio of moment of inertia about the neutral axis to the distance of the outermost layer from the neutral axis, that is I by y. From the above equation, we resolve into bending stress equal to m by z. Some of the assumptions for theory of simple bending: material of beam is homogeneous isotropic. Young's modulus is constant in compression and tension. Plane before bending remains a plane after bending. Beam is inertially straight and all longitudinal filaments bend in circular arcs. Radius of curvature is large compared with dimension of cross section. Each layer of the beam is free to expand and contract. Deflection of beams. Deflection in beams is caused by bending of beams. There are several methods available to determine the deflection of beams. Some of them are double integration, moment area, strain energy, Macaulay and conjugate beam method. Deflection of beam under different loading and support conditions are given. In the competitive point of view, just by got the formulas for slope and deflection. This slide shows for cantilever beam with different loading condition. Next, simply supported beam with different loading condition and fixed beam with different loading condition. Torsion. Torsion means twisting of a structural member. Let us consider a circular shaft subjected to a couple that produce the rotation about the longitudinal axis. Torsion causes rotation of all the fibers about the longitudinal or polar axis. Force required for torsion is normal to the longitudinal axis, having certain eccentricity from the centroid. If there is no shear force and no bending moment present in the structural member, then it will cause pure torsion. If torque is applied in a non-circular section, then warping will occur. Therefore, the equation of torsion is only valid for circular shaft or hollow circular shaft. Of torsion: T by J equal to tau by R equal to C theta by L. T is nothing but applied torque. J is a polar moment of inertia. It is defined as the internal resistance against the shear stress. Tau is the shear stress. R is the distance from the center of the shaft. C is shear modulus. Theta is the angle of twist. L is the length of the shaft. This formula is only valid for solid or hollow solid circular shaft. The best example for torsion in real time is riding of bicycle. Next one. Some of the assumption for torsion: the material is homogeneous, that is, a uniform elastic properties exist throughout the material. The material is elastic, follows Hooke's law. The stress does not exceed the elastic limit. A plane section before twisting remains a plane after twisting. Cross section rotate if it is rigid, that is, every diameter rotates through a same angle. Moment of inertia about the polar axis. Some formulas for solid circular section and hollow circular section. Polar moment of inertia about solid section equal to pi by 32 into d power 4. For hollow circular section, pi by 32 into d naught power 4 minus di power 4. Outer diameter minus inner diameter. Compound shaft. Let us consider a shaft in series connection. Torque will be same on both shafts. Total angular deformation of free end of the shaft from the fixed end will be equal to theta 1 of the first one plus theta 2 of the second one. This is the formula for series connection. Next, parallel connection. In this connection, theta will be same. Torque can be calculated by T1L1 divided by C1J1, which is equal to T2L2 divided by C2L2. Strain energy stored due to torsion is an important formula in torsion. Strain energy equal to tau square divided by 4C into volume. Effect of pure bending on shaft. Let us consider a shaft subjected to a couple produce a flexural stress which is equal to 32 m divided by pi d cube. Effect of pure torsion on shaft. Let us consider the shaft subjected to a torque produce a shear stress which is equal to 16t divided by pi d cube. Combined effect of bending and torsion produce flexural stress and maximum shear stress. This is an important formula in torsion topic. Next one. Columns. A column is defined as a compression member whose effective length exceeds 3 times the least lateral dimension. Let us consider a column. It is a vertical member subjected to vertical compressive load alone. Whereas struct is comparatively short column, it may be horizontal, vertical or inclined, subjected to any of the loading condition. Whereas struct is used in steel frames and truss structure. Columns support vertical loads from the roof and floors and transmit these loads to the foundation. Based on slenderness ratio, columns are broadly classified into long column, short column. Long column is otherwise called as slender column. Euler's formula for long column: P equal to pi square EI by LE square. LE is nothing but effective length. Let us consider a column subjected to a vertical load. After the application of load, the column start buckle like this. This is what called effective length. It is only applicable for long column. Assumptions of Euler's theory. The column material is perfectly elastic, homogeneous and isotrophic and obeys Hooke's law. Axis of column is perfectly straight when unloaded. Column is long and prismatic. It fails only in buckling. Effect of direct stress is very small in comparison with bending stress. The self weight of the column is neglected. Limitation of Euler's theory. There is always crookedness in the column and the load may not be exactly axial. This formula does not consider the axial stress and buckling load given by this formula, by which more than actual buckling load. Effect of crushing is neglected. If the column is long, then it will fail only because of buckling or bending. If the column is short, then it fails only by crushing. Intermediate column failed by combination of both crushing and buckling. Some of the support conditions for effective length: both end hinged, effective length equal to L. Example, bridges. One end fixed, other end free, like chimneys, effective length equal to 2L. Both end fixed for framed structure, L by 2. One end fixed, other end hinged, effective length equal to L by root 2. Slenderness ratio. It is defined as the ratio of effective length to the minimum radius of gyration of the column. This ratio tells about the tendency of bending of the column or beam about the particular axis. With higher slenderness ratio, the column or beam has higher tendency to buckle or bend about the axis for which the slenderness ratio is calculated. Slenderness ratio equal to effective length divided by least radius of gyration. Rankine's formula applicable to any column. Therefore, 1 by PR equal to 1 by Euler's crippling load plus 1 divided by crushing load. Therefore, load equal to stress into area. Stress into area divided by 1 plus alpha into lambda square. Alpha is called as a Rankine's constant. Now we are going to solve the analytical problems which are related to the above topics. First question, let us consider a simply supported beam carries a point load W at its center of 4 meter long. Slope of the beam is given as 1 degree. Then find the deflection of the beam. Deflection is nothing but moment of area of bending moment diagram divided by A, or else slope into centroidal distance. Centroidal distance for simply supported beam with center point load is nothing but L by 3. Length is given as 4 meter. Substitute the given values. Find out the deflection. Deflection equal to 1 degree. Convert degree into radians by multiplied by pi by 180 into length 4 meter divided by 3. Deflection equal to 23.27 mm. Repeatedly asked in TNPSC exam. Important sums. Next question. Very important conceptual question. Keenly watch this question. Lot of careless mistakes will happen. Let's see. Let us consider a cantilever beam carries a uniformly distributed load W and upward force W at its end. Find the net deflection of the free end will be. By applying the principle of superposition, let us consider a cantilever beam with upward force. Deflection of the given beam is WL3 by 3A. Another beam, a cantilever beam with UDL, downward direction. Therefore, deflection equal to WL3 by 8EI. Net deflection of the free end will be the upward deflection due to the point load W as WL3 by 3EI. The downward deflection due to UDL equal to WL3 by 8EI. Finally, resolve this. We get 5 by 24 WL3 divided by EI into upward direction. Third question. Don't read the question fully for time constraint exam. Let's see what is asking in this question is maximum shear stress for rectangular section. Maximum shear stress equal to 1.5 times of VU by BD for rectangular section. For circular section, 1.3 times of VU by BD. Therefore, find out the shear force. Shear force is nothing but rate of change of bending moment. So 10,000 divided by 0.5. We get shear force equal to 20,000. Substitute the maximum shear stress formula. 1.5 into 20 into 10 power 3 divided by 0.1 into 0.3. Convert mm into meter. Finally, maximum shear stress equal to 1 meganewton per meter square. Next one. Fourth question. The question is about the deflection at the frame. Let us consider a cantilever beam subjected to a endpoint load. The deflection for the beam is given as 0.8 centimeter. The depth of the section is doubled. Width will be same. Find the deflection of the free end due to same loading condition. Therefore, deflection of the beam equal to WL3 by 3A. I is nothing but moment of inertia. For rectangular section, BD3 by 12. Depth get double. Therefore, deflection equal to WL3 by 3A into 1 by 8. Therefore, deflection equal to 0.125 times of 0.8 centimeter. This is the answer for this question. Next one. Fifth question. The question is about the ratio of flexural strength of two beams. One is square section, another one is a one diagonal horizontal section. Nothing but diamond section. Therefore, flexural strength of the beam is directly proportional to the section modulus of the beam as per theory of simple bending. Therefore, section modulus of first beam equal to 2I by A. For second beam, section modulus equal to root 2 I by A. Therefore, the ratio of the two beam gives section modulus Z1 by Z2 equal to root 2. Therefore, the answer for the question is root 2. Next one. Sixth question. The resultant cuts the base of circular column of diameter D subjected to an eccentricity of D by 4. The ratio of maximum compressive stress and maximum tensile stresses. The decrease in volume of certain material causes the compressive stress, while tensile stress is caused by increasing the length of the material. Therefore, the ratio of these two stresses is nothing but diameter divided by eccentricity of that material, D by 4. Ratio of compressive stress to the tensile stress equal to 4:1. This is the answer for this question. Next one. The effective length of chimney of 20 meter height is taken as. The chimney resembles a cantilever beam. Just like fixed at one end, another end will be free. Therefore, effective length of the cantilever beam is nothing but 2 times the original length, 2 into 20, which gives out 40 meter. The effective length of chimney is 40 meter. Next one. If the diameter of the shaft is subjected to a torque alone is double, therefore the horsepower can be increased by. We know the formula for power. Power equal to omega into torque. Omega is nothing but 2 pi n divided by 60. Torque equal to pi d cube divided by 16 into tau max. Here the diameter get double. Therefore, torque equal to 8 times the pi by d cube divided by 16 into tau max. Now substitute the value in the power formula. Power equal to omega into 8 times the torque. Therefore, horsepower can be increased by 8 times. Ninth question. Two simply supported beams B1 and B2 have span of L and 12 respectively. For beam 1 has a cross section of 2 cross 2 unit. For beam 2 the cross section is not given, therefore taken as 1 cross 1. The beams are subjected to center point load W. The ratio of maximum flexural stress in the beam is. Flexural stress is nothing but M by Z as per theory of simple bending. Moment equal to force into distance. Section modulus for square section is d cube divided by 6. Therefore, stress in first beam equal to force will be same in both the beams. Therefore, L divided by 2 cross 2 cross 2 divided by 2L divided by 1 cross 1 cross 1. Resolving it, we get the maximum flexural stress in the beam to equal to 1 by 4. This is the answer for this question. Next one. Tenth question. A steel joist is simply supported at its end, carries a uniformly distributed load, cause a maximum deflection of 10 mm. Slope of the ends is 0.002 radian. The length of the joint will be. The deflection is given as 10 mm. Slope at the ends is given as 0.002 radian. Therefore, find the length of the joint. We know the formula for deflection. For simply supported beam with the UDL condition, W L power 4 divided by EI into 5 by 384. Slope for the same beam equal to WL cube divided by 24 EI. Slope equal to 0.002 multiplied by 24, which gives out WL cube by EI. Substitute the value in the deflection. Deflection equal to 5 by 384 into 0.0048 into length. The deflection is given as 10 mm. 5 by 384 into 0.0048 into length. The deflection is given as 10 mm. 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 10 Resolving, resolving it, finally we get the length of the joint will be L equal to 10 meter. Once again, I remind that this channel is specially to enhance the analytical knowledge. If you need any information about the topics, kindly go through the subject books or any other channel and utilize this for analytical one. I hope this video will be very useful for you. Kindly share your friends who are preparing for competitive exams. Thank you.